You didn't find your soulmate, you found a predator who sold you a perfect fantasy of yourself, and you bought it without a second thought. That person who just got you. They loved the same obscure art, laughed at your private jokes, and their life goals were a perfect copy of yours. It felt like destiny. But the truth is, you didn't fall in love with them. You fell in love with a strategically crafted reflection of yourself, and they used that reflection to pull off the biggest heist imaginable, the theft of your personality. It starts like a well-rehearsed play. This person enters your life, and the connection is instantaneous, overwhelming. They don't just like what you like, they become what you are. That niche band you adore, they're suddenly a lifelong superfan. Your half-formed philosophies, they recite them back to you with shocking precision, and you feel utterly seen. Finally, you're not too intense or too strange, you're perfect. So you feel a wave of desperate gratitude. You thank them for validating you, for being this perfect mirror. This is the soulmate illusion, and it's the narcissist's most effective weapon. The concept of a soulmate is a trap for the codependent, and narcissists are master manipulators. They manufacture intimacy by becoming your echo. It feels like a homecoming, so you demolish your defenses. You think you're building a bridge to their soul, but you're just staring into a mirror they've angled to show you only what you want to see. You weren't falling for them. You were falling for yourself, and they were just the con artist holding up the picture. So what was really going on? You must understand the gaping chasm between how healthy people connect and how a narcissist operates. In a healthy bond, some mirroring is natural. It's a sign of empathy. Narcissistic mirroring, however, is a cold, calculated strategy. It's psychological plagiarism. They don't admire you. They envy you with a terrifying emptiness where their identity should be. Here's a controversial question. Is there ever such a thing as healthy mirroring, or is it always a form of manipulation? Let me know what you believe in the comments below. A narcissist sees your authentic traits, your real passions, and your history as resources to be plundered. Their goal isn't to connect, it's to possess your qualities to build a mask they can wear. This is a forensic investigation on their part. They study your speech, values, and vulnerabilities. Then they begin to perform these traits back to you. First, it's flattering. You mention wanting to learn a language, and suddenly they've bought a course for you both, claiming it's a secret passion of theirs too. Then it gets invasive. They start using that niche phrase only your close friends use. They suddenly claim your favorite obscure author as their own, despite never mentioning them before. Eventually, it's a hostile takeover. Your life goals become their life goals. Your personal stories become their stories, just slightly altered. Your style is now their style. They aren't just like you, they are actively trying to become a better version of you. They don't just take up your hobby, they master it, belittling your progress to make you feel worthless. This isn't flattery, it's erasure. Then comes the discard. The mirror shatters, and you're left with a disorienting and profound identity crisis. You're standing in the wreckage, and you don't recognize yourself. The qualities you were once proud of, your wit, your drive, your tastes, feel hollow or just gone. You question everything. Did I ever really like that music? Or did I just like that they were so obsessed with it? Was that my dream? Or was it a script they wrote for me? And here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to admit. They chose you for a reason. They saw a need for validation so deep that you were willing to accept a perfect reflection instead of a real person. You were a willing participant in your own erasure because the fantasy felt better than reality. That's the part that really stings, isn't it? By mirroring you and then abandoning you, they effectively steal your identity, leaving you feeling like an empty shell. Your self-worth is obliterated because the person who supposedly worshipped you now treats you with absolute contempt. The traits they once idealized are now the very things they attack. It makes you think, maybe I'm not interesting, maybe I'm worthless, maybe I have no personality at all. If you're in that fog right now, listen to me. You are not lost, you are just buried, and you can dig yourself out. Your personality was never truly stolen because they only ever had a cheap copy. This is the reclamation. Here are 3 steps to start taking your identity back. First, call the fraud. You must accept that what they showed you was a knockoff. The feeling you thought was love? It wasn't love. It was the thrill of a perfect transaction. You got validation, and they got a personality to wear for a season. See the narcissist for what they are, a broken mirror that could only show you a distorted version of your own light. It was never their light to begin with. Second, the rediscovery project. You have to actively and aggressively reconnect with who you were before them. This is a practical assignment. Pull out old photos. Make a playlist of songs you loved before you met them. Call a friend who knew you back then and ask them to remind you of who you were. Go do things you once loved, by yourself, even if it feels strange. Each action is you gathering evidence of your authentic self, exercising their influence and reminding your soul, oh right, I remember me. Third, build a fortress. Forget becoming the discerning curator of your own museum. That's for people who haven't been robbed. You have. The goal now isn't to build bridges, it's to build a fortress. You decide who gets in, and the price of admission is now extremely high. Practice sharing your inner world with no one until their actions prove they are safe. Healthy people will be interested in knowing you. Unhealthy people are interested in consuming you. Learning the difference isn't just your power, it's your armor. They didn't steal your personality, they just proved how valuable it was by trying so desperately to copy it. A black hole can't produce its own light, it can only swallow the suns around it. The original is always worth more than the copy. It's time to reclaim your masterpiece. If any of this sounds painfully familiar, share your story in the comments. Let's remind each other that we're not alone on this bizarre journey, and if you want to learn more about recovering from this kind of manipulation, make sure you subscribe.